Perfectionism is slowing me down. And shout out to Jet Friesen for giving me the inspiration to make this video. I just watched a video of his on his YouTube channel, which is titled Read Classic Books. Then the other word is a curse word, and I don't want YouTube hammering down on me. But basically, I'm a fan of Jet Friesen because I like how he's just himself, and I like that he sounds very smart. He sounds very smart. I don't know if he's smart because I don't know him personally, but from what he says on the internet, he sounds very smart, and he sounds very well read. So I'm very impressed by him, and I am a fan of his. But then I realized that I don't make videos like that, and I try to use cloth to make my videos, or I try to make videos that fit a certain narrative, or I make videos that I want them to sound a particular way because I'm trying to be perfect, and I'm starting to realize that perfectionism is really slowing me down because I'm trying to be perfect. I end up making so many videos and deleting them, and because it is perfectionism in a way, I have my own personal philosophies and theories that I talk about and I delete them because they sound quite ridiculous and borderline insane. So I just make them and I delete them. In as much as I don't even really think they're insane, I just don't want to be labeled insane. So I guess I'm trying to be a perfect person on the internet, and I'm also trying to be a perfect character, which is weird because being an entrepreneur is me realizing that I am not a perfect person, but I want to create a world where things can be done better. And I also want to be an entrepreneur, or I am an entrepreneur because I want to have my destiny in my own hands. Which is weird because how would you want to be an entrepreneur, or how are you an entrepreneur? You understand that things take time, growth takes time, and evolving takes time, but yet you're just trying to be perfect and you're trying to start out perfect. That is weird. And in the sense of perfectionism, I would also stick to what I want to talk about, not what I want, not what for some reason I not what I feel like I'm led to talk about, but I want to talk about what I want to talk about because I don't want to be imperfect. I want to be imperfectly imperfect, so much so that I am able to live a life that is of my own orchestration. But then, you see, the problem now with my entire train of thought is that because of my newly discovery of the supernatural world, I just feel very fatigued in doing so many things because the old me would just want to go all out and do things by themselves. But lately, I feel like there's God and He's the orchestrator of everything, and He has created a world that has been designed by Him, and He has written out the rules according to the Bible. So most of the things I'm doing is not my own free will, and I'm just a character in a script. But then again, I'm starting to have a very huge theory that maybe the entire Bible is just a philosophical psychological book written by the white man to propagate the Christian religion. But you see, I don't want to go deep into that because I am betraying myself. And what do I mean by I'm betraying myself? Growing up, I've always been a lover of Charles Bukowski specifically and Miyamoto Musashi. And these guys said something about not depending on the God factor. If you're a person that does not depend on the God factor, you do everything off your own time, off your own orchestration, you plan things to the end, and you just do things based on your existence because you don't believe that some mythological being would come to your rescue. And I've always been like that, and it has really helped me. And then the one time I started relying on the supernatural being, I was let down. But then again, because of my interaction with these other out of earth realms, I feel like I cannot ignore the existence of the supernatural. So if the supernatural is real and God is real, then shouldn't I actually also pay homage to his existence and believe that it can interfere in my life? So does that mean he's been interfering in my life up until now and things are only going this way because of his interference? Because based on my own human thinking, I don't think, based on my own human thinking, I think up until 2022, it has sort of been my own human understanding and not really the interference of the divine. And then when I started wanting the divine to interfere with my pathways, that was when I stopped taking accountability for my own existence and I wanted miracles to happen. And the moment I started wanting miracles to happen was the moment that I became a bit lackadaisical, actually, which is bad because I should be much more engaged with my existence and trying to get things done. But I became lackadaisical because I felt like, oh, I have my heavenly father that should do things for me. So I just felt like, let me relax and take a chill pill and just pray to God. But then when I started doing that, things started not working out. But then again, I think his interference with my existence might have been limited because of my own persona. Be as it may, there is still him being the supreme being. So if he is a supreme being, I think there is a way that he can interact with my existence that would let me know that he is interacting. And in a way, I feel like right now he is interacting, but his interaction is more from the side of my existence that does not glorify justice. So basically, his interaction is just more like a bit passive, one, and it's just a bit withdrawn, and it has to do with me doing the right thing at all times. Which I'm not saying I'm a fan of doing the wrong things. I try to do the right things, and I have done the wrong things in the past, but I'm trying to do the right things to justify him. But then again, it doesn't really make it easy for you to do the right things. So if a person is going to interact with your existence to make you do the right things, at least the least the person can do is just help you to make things easy for you to do the right things. But he's constantly testing you to do the right things, which is why I am just connecting the dots in my head and I'm flowing. So right now I've created a pathway of thinking in my head because I've started becoming more of a Christian, which is that whatever I'm going through right now in this plane of existence is because it's trying to allow me to evolve and shape my internal Israel to a creature that is worthy of ascending into his own heavenly realm. But the sad part of this is I have no real validity to it. The only validity I have is me understanding that the pathways of my brain is linked to a form of divine outer world existence that is also linked to with people around me, but it's also linked to a divine being that is above. Right? And then this is where most times when I make videos like this, I delete them because I think it sounds weird. So I just delete it. Which I don't think it is weird actually. I think if you're apologies, I'm not insulting you, but I think if you're a bit intellectually inclined, you'd realize that it's not that weird. But then again, you don't have much context about who I am personally, so you might not really be able to properly gauge what I'm saying. But I wanted to say in layman terms, well, let's take a chill pill with layman terms, and everything I've even said personally to me is kind of layman terms. Which is what I'm starting to realize that me not wanting to talk in the terms that I want to talk is actually slowing down my brain and thinking faculties. Which now there is now the existence of there's the existence of the fact that I think there's an house of the earth inside the earth form of existence of different functions of human human existence. I don't know. There's a form of function human weirdness. There's something going on the planet, and for some reason, I feel like I'm the only person that sees it, which is weird. Or I'm the only person that sees it but has the free will and the liberty to be able to talk about it. And it is so much stressful. Before it was never stressful because for some reason I was engrossed in a form of outwardly flow. And because I was involved with that flow, it allowed me to rise to a certain level of thinking that is way much more superior than my level of thinking right now. But because I started mingling with humans and I started wanting to not look in a particular type of way to people, and I'm not saying mingling with humans is bad, but because I wanted to like not look a particular type of way, I was trying to paint a picture of perfectionism based on other people's connotation of what perfection is. I started dwindling my own mental faculties, but not just mental faculties or intellect. Right now, I'm living now, and I started dwindling of my ability to feel a form of spiritual existence, which it became borderline. It became it became very thin that I felt like I was breaking the barrier of and natural spirituality and naturality. I was like trapped in it. I wasn't trapped in it. It was like I was just it's like at some point in my life, even up to right now, a little bit. I feel like I'm glitching between realms. But I don't want to say this on the internet because I don't want people watching me say Israel said is glitching between realms. What does that mean? Is it okay? Because then, because of perfectionism, I'm trying to not be a weird person and I'm trying to not over engage your mind in things that might make you question your own existence and question my existence, primarily even question my existence and question my sanity. So because of perfectionism, I'm trying to say the right things at all times. But because of my identity as who I am and I like to be honest with myself, I realize that in as much as I try to maintain this perfectionism, the only thing that will come out from this perfectionism is a false identity and my inability to evolve or ascend to a level of understanding. But then again, I now also, for some reason, I've now realized, or I think that's because at the end of the day, I'm just talking to you guys to have a dialogue with you. But sometimes I also feel like I say these things to like just express myself. But I think primarily speaking, I'm having a dialogue with you, right? But yesterday, when I made content at church with those little children, I I had a better time off camera than on camera because of off camera I was playing football with them and I was just entirely engrossed in the process. But once I brought out my phone, I kind of started asking for the camera, which weirdly speaking, the off camera Israel with those children was light years more interesting and a whole lot better than the on camera Israel. Strange, but this is not a justification or this is not a fact that the on camera Israel would at all times be better than the off camera Israel. So right now I'm trying to be a person that is just liberal, and by liberal I don't mean liberalism, I just mean liberal in the concept of a free person. I just want to be free to say the things that I want to say without being scared of being judged, but also be able to express myself and also enjoy different forms of my own existence. But I can't really do that because there are other humans on the planet. But then again, when I was actually having this liberal existence, many people did not complain. So it is complicated. But hey, shout out to Jet Frozen for allowing me to make this video, and also shout out to me for making this video in such a way that I'm able to say the things I want to say in my head, but I said it in a bit of a, I want to say philosophical way, or a bit of, I used some vocabulary which is not as mundane as what I would say in my previous video. Why? Because I'm trying to force myself to play at a level which is not meant for me. I try to dampen my vocabulary. I try to dampen my thinking. I try to dampen everything just to suit my audience. But I think the real truth is you should just exist and allow people to resonate towards you. But I still think that is a mundane level of thinking because as a good teacher, you are meant to help people to rise to the level of your thinking. But the thing is, right now, my level of thinking is not me. Right now, I'm not trying to get people to rise to my level of thinking. Right now, I'm in a phase whereby I am a bit, I am very perplexed about things. And it's not the perplexity of my perplexion is not based on my inability to decipher things. It's based on my ability to realize that I don't really have abilities. And there is a supreme being that actually exists that controls the entire universe. But then again, when I now see the entire universe, when I try to peek into the realm of this being, I realize that the entire universe is just like a tiny speck of dust in front of this being. So I feel like I should not even be stressing at all. I feel like I should just sit down and just be worshiping the supreme being if the supreme being is as supreme as I think it is. So it's like, why am I even why do I exist? Because in my previous video, I know I exist for the supreme being, but like if you're so supreme, why do you need me to exist now? Right now I'm already flowing into something different. So I'm just gonna leave it at this particular point because I can keep going on and on and on and on and on and on because I've realized that my brain is able to open up to levels of frequencies. And that is crazy.